chemical engineer. Yeah, Bruce was a chemical
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Greg McLean, and I am the director of this auspicious organization. And we would like to welcome you to our performance tonight. Thank you for coming on a somewhat rainy Monday evening. That first tune, Fascinating Rhythm, written in 1924 by George Gershwin, was written for the show Lady Be Good, and it was introduced by Fred and Adele Astaire, the great dancing team. We're going to continue now with a great hard bop composition written by one of the innovators of hard bop, Bobby Timmons, who worked in one of the original Jazz Messengers groups with Art Blakey. And this was first recorded, written in 1960, and first recorded on his debut album, which was called This Here Is Bobby Timmons. And of course, later recorded by Cannonball Adderley's group, and then Art Blakey with Timmons on piano. There's also a tune on the album called This Here. So we assume that This Here and Dat Dare go together. So we're going to do Dat Dare, which is a really cool tune, and it features some of the attributes that we talk about in our jazz history class regarding hard bop. It's in a minor key, it's very bluesy, and it's got a great melody. So here is Dat Dare, arranged by Mark Taylor. One, two, three. only problem with me being back here playing is that I'm doing 3 things at one time. So, our next tune is another hard bop wonder. This was composed by Sonny Rollins, who is one of the few musicians of that generation that is still with us, and I'm happy to tell you that I share a birthday with Sonny Rollins, although he's a few years older than me. I think he just turned 95 or 96. Yeah. But he doesn't play anymore, unfortunately. I think it got to the point where it was a little too much. So this tune was composed in 1956, although there's a great story behind it. This was on his, probably his most famous album, his first album called Saxophone Colossus. And this is the most famous tune from that album. But what Sonny doesn't tell us is that he kind of borrowed, i.e. stole the melody from the Caribbean. This is actually a tune that originated in the Bahamas called Sponger, that's sponge with an R, Sponger Monkey. And I kid you not, I found one recording of it on YouTube, and it's identical. The melody is almost identical. And then there was another great jazz pianist, Randy Weston, who recorded a tune called Fire Down There, which is supposedly the same thing as Sponger Monkey. And he recorded that a year before Sonny did, in 1955. So we attribute this tune to Sonny Rollins, but I think he may have owed credit to some other people. But we love Sonny anyway, so we're going to do this great tune, St. Thomas. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to slow it down a little bit to kind of a more medium tempo swing tune. This, of course, by the great Duke Ellington. And it was originally titled Never No Lament and first recorded by Duke's Orchestra as Don't Get Around Much Anymore in 1940. Then in 1943, Ellington's version and a vocal version by the Ink Spots became Billboard's #1 hit on the R&B charts in 1943. There have been a lot of notable recordings of this tune. Louis Armstrong, Tony Bennett, Michael Bublé, Nat King Cole, Harry Connick, Ella Fitzgerald, and dozens of others. This is our version of Don't Get Around Much Anymore, arranged by Mark Taylor. One, two, three. Thank you very much. All right. So, moving along now, we're going to go back to a Latin groove for you. And this piece was written in 1947 by a Polish composer named Bronislaw Kaper, who wrote a lot of music for film and musical theater. And it was written for a movie called Green Dolphin Street. And originally, the title of this tune was just Green Dolphin Street. And it's been on Green Dolphin Street for a while now. Interestingly enough, this was probably the only really great tune that came out of that movie score. But it became a hit with jazz musicians because it's got a really great chord progression and a nice kind of floating melody. And this is a great arrangement by Mike Tamaro. And here is On Green Dolphin Street. All right, Mark Tucker on piano over there. Jeff Drew on tenor sax. And yes, I was playing flugelhorn on that. If you're not sure, you don't have to clap, all right? I wanted to be honest. No, I'm kidding. If you don't clap, I'll fail all of you. Thank you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would never do that. Just some of you. Okay. So now we're really going to slow it down a little more. This is a beautiful tune composed in 1953 for a Broadway show called Carnival in Flanders. And this is a convoluted story. Now, Flanders is an area of Europe that is actually a part of Holland. It's kind of an area where I think France and Holland and Belgium all come together. It's kind of a little small area. Anyway, this apparently is set in the Renaissance, and I don't know anything else about the tune other than it was written for that show. But it's become a wonderful standard tune over the years, and it was arranged by a trombone player. I know. Who thought a trombone player could arrange anything, right? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. John Wasson, who attended the wonderful music school at the University of North Texas, which has really the original jazz program, university jazz program in this country. And I had the good fortune of spending 1 year there. But John Wasson ended up going on tour with groups like Stan Kenton and also Woody Herman. And he is currently a professor of music at Texas A&M. And so this is his arrangement of Here's That Rainy Day. And you're going to see Mark and I play flugelhorns again here.
about this time, this group in its first iteration played its first concert.
Mike,
In, no,
we can't hear you well. Yeah, can't hear you.
well, I can't hear them.
Take it off of mute, Bob.
You? That better? Since its inception by Lou Cephas from Briarcliff High School, this group's had 6 directors from its inception in fall of 1975 through fall of 1998. Since 1998, we've had one and only one director, Greg McLean. And those of us who've been in the group for a long time decided we needed to recognize our friend, our director, and esteemed educator. Like I said, there's been a lot of folks, and I can tell you some things about Greg and what he's done with this group that give rise to wanting to recognize him. We've had some directors that have been great promoters, directors that have been great rehearsers, directors that have exposed us to some really tough and good music, but nobody's had the complete package, especially the educator part. Greg comes from a family of educators. His mom and his dad were both college professors, if I recall correctly, and Greg followed in their footsteps. Greg has given us, many of us, the opportunity to learn things that we otherwise wouldn't have learned. Improvisation, for one. If we don't get passing tones, he'll probably kill us all. That said, is Jody in the house? Jody, would you come up here, please? You know the old phrase, behind every good man's a great woman? This is Greg's wife, Jody McLean. Come on up here, Jody. So we want to make this presentation a certificate of recognition. Dean Robertson, Sally Robertson's the Dean of the Fine Arts Department here at the college and was unable to come for prior commitment. I believe she's out of town, but she sent her best regards, is well aware of this, and very supportive. I have to say that Dean Robertson and her assistant, Susan Culver, have been exceptionally helpful in supporting Greg and what we do here, the registration that started after COVID. So we're very appreciative of what they do, but most of all, we're appreciative to Greg for what he's done for us, and everybody wants to say that and give Greg a round of applause. Here, here. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for sharing this time with us.
Well, now we're going to get to introduce the guys in the band. Thank you guys very much. It has been an honor to work with this group for the last 25 years, and we've had our ups and downs, but we've had more ups than downs. And just so you know, you can see that the average age up here is close to Methuselah. And yes, you do. Someone in back there. This group began as a community ensemble, and through the years has maintained that status. And then it's been about 2 years ago now, we discovered, after we had merged with Georgia State University about 7 or 8 years ago, we are required to have in our classes only registered paid students. So these guys who were coming every Monday night and donating their time because they love this music and they love what we did with them here at the college, went through the process of getting admitted to the college, becoming non-traditional students. A few of them are GSU 62. If you didn't know it, in the state of Georgia, when you hit the age of 62, you can go to school for free. Yeah, I know some of you don't want to wait that long. I get it. But if you ever get to 62 and you want to learn something you didn't know. Anyway, the point is these guys went through that painful process and have stuck with us through all of that. And I love every one of them. They're all wonderful musicians, and they're very devoted. Now, Jared, our young drummer over here, is probably the youngest guy in the band. Jared was actually a Perimeter College student and now is out in the workforce doing some IT stuff. And so we do have some younger guys. So let me start over there with the rhythm section. You've already heard him play several really wonderful solos. And this guy came to me, what's it been, Mark, about 15, 16 years ago? He came to me, and it was after a concert, and he said, yeah, I'm a jazz piano player. That's what I do. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he said, you know, if you ever have an opportunity. And lo and behold, I had a chance to bring Mark in here, and he has grown immensely, even though he was good when he got here, but now he's one of the top jazz piano players in Atlanta. And I would like to think that some of that is because of his experience here, but it's just because he works at it. But he's a hardware engineer by day. But he loves this music so much he's willing to pay the price. And that's, you know, a challenge. So again, a round of applause for Mark Tucker on piano. And I just mentioned Jared. Jared is a wonderful drummer, as you hear, and he's improved some since he's been here, and as you know, he's working at it too, and he's working a full day job, and a couple of years ago graduated and asked to come back to the band, and I said, hell yeah. And so again, a hand for Jared Archibald on drums and percussion. And on bass, we have our resident accountant. This guy's a real Renaissance man, though. He's one of the smartest guys I know. And he knows a lot of stuff about a lot of different stuff, because he reads. He reads a lot of books. All English. It's all English, right. And Mark, I met Mark, I think, the first time playing in, you were playing in the DeKalb Symphony many years ago, I think was the first time I met you. Yeah. And Steve is a wonderful musician. He plays guitar. I think you can play some keyboard too, right? Yes, sir. Yeah. But he's one of the top jazz bass players in Atlanta, and we're very lucky to have him. Stephen Blair on the upright bass. Okay, now back here, sitting with me, this guy over here I've known for 51 or 2 years. Mark and I met, he was a student at Emory University, and I was at Georgia State. This was, 1975, I think it was. And they were doing Mahler's First Symphony. It's a very difficult piece, and it requires 4 trumpets. Well, they didn't have 4 trumpet players at Emory University that could do this, so they called Georgia State, and me and my friend Chris Horton, who actually was my very first trumpet teacher, we came over and played with Mark and the rest of the orchestra. And then found out Mark was interested in jazz, and he shows up when I first took over the band, one of the early years, probably 99 or 2000, something like that. I think you came back to the band. But Mark and Bob, who very graciously presented the certificate, they were in the very first band version of this band in 1975. So next year we're going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary. So we'll have to plan something big for that. But Mark is a working physician, anesthesiologist, and we're very happy to have him here. Dr. Mark Merlin on trumpet. And sitting next to me, one of our newer members in the last year and a half or so. Has it been that? Oh my God, time flies. It's 3 or 4 years. This is Nathaniel Addix, who is also an IT guy, and we're very happy to have him in the trombone section. Nathaniel Addix on trombone. And now we got a real live music major down here. Joshua came to me back in the summer and said, I'm interested in playing the jazz band. And so I heard him play, and he sounds really good. So I said, yeah, please come play. And you're planning to do some production and stuff like that, I think, right? But he's a very fine trombone player. Joshua Gaston on trombone. All right, now the saxophone section. You've heard him play several wonderful solos tonight. Was in the, I don't have your notes with me.
I was in the legal field.
He was in the legal field, and he's still in the legal field, and we'll leave it at that. And Jeff is a wonderful musician, and we're very happy to have him. Jeff Drew on tenor saxophone. And the guy that has been the anchor of this band since I've been the director, starting in the fall of 1998, this guy is a really wonderful musician, has played lead alto and second alto depending on what was needed. He's always here. I think in 25 years he's missed 4 rehearsals. And he's really a great guy and a wonderful musician. Bob Kemp on lead alto saxophone. And then we have another retiree who's come back to school, a former employee of the U.S. Postal Service and a retired veteran. Thank you for your service, Rock. And we are very happy to have Roxelle Carter on alto saxophone. Oh, yes, and we have our presenter from back there in the catacomb somewhere. Okay. Who was very generous to introduce that nice certificate. And Bob's been in this band since 1975. And Bob and I actually knew each other in high school, so we've known each other for quite a while. And went to different high schools, but we played in some area bands together. And my good buddy, Bob Devine on trombone, wherever he is over there somewhere. Yeah. And then another buddy of mine who I've known for a long time, who is a retired Navy musician and now is a cabinet maker and does all sorts of home renovation projects and has his own shop up in Snellville. Wonderful musician and a great guy, Terry Creedon on drums. Where are you, Terry? You down there? All right. Well, thank you guys once again for coming out tonight to hear this group, and we will be back in April, or it might be May. I think you can look it up online. I don't remember, quite honestly. And then we do have a combo concert again with some of the members of this group. I think it's February 17th, whatever President's Day or whatever that day is. It's a Monday evening. So we hope you will come back and join us again. And we're going to close out this evening with another Sonny Rollins tune. This is one of my favorites. It's called Oleo, and for you guys taking notes, this is a contrafaction of George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm. And it's that chord progression that goes with that tune has become very popular over the years with jazz musicians. And so we just call it Rhythm Changes. And so here we go with Oleo. Thank you. Hang on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry there is no encore. That's all we got. But please do come to the stage and say hello. And these guys don't bite hard. So if you have questions about what we just did, please come say hello. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.